Alright, so this is my first time doing a video on this channel and my first time doing a review, so I hope you enjoy it. Because of my love for cartoons and basically everything geeky, and the recent Season 1 finale of Gravity Falls, I felt that would be a pretty good place to start. There are no spoilers in this review, though I might possibly do another review with spoilers depending upon how this one comes out, because there are some spoiler things I would like to talk about. For those of you who don't know what Gravity Falls is, it's a cartoon produced by Disney and created by Alex Hirsch, previous writer for The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack and Fishhooks. This show is about two twin siblings, Mabel and Dipper Pines, whose parents send them away for the summer to live with their great uncle or grunkle, Stan, who owns a tourist trap called the Mystery Shack in Gravity Falls, Oregon. There they encounter some weird supernatural happenings and try to solve the mysteries of Gravity Falls. Now, I only started watching Gravity Falls a couple of months back when I was shown a couple of episodes by some friends of mine. Originally, they wanted to show me the new Teen Titans Go, since I grew up with the original show, and because of the My Little Pony references at the beginning of episode 1. But they also happened to show me Gravity Falls, and although Teen Titans Go is cute and all, what hooked me was Gravity Falls. So, if you can guess, I'm a fan of the show, and overall, the show has great characters, a wonderful sense of humor, which comes from the incredible writing, and a mystery behind the town that is intriguing. It has a little of something for everyone: humor, mystery, adventure, and some heartfelt moments and lessons that all good kid shows should have. I also have to mention the top-notch animation. The animation in this show is almost movie quality. It is very good. Unfortunately, the style of animation may be a bit off-putting for some. I will admit it took me a while to adjust, and a friend of mine can't even watch the show because of it. But for most people, it's not going to be a problem. It's actually very cute now that I'm used to it. And the animation itself is extremely clean, despite the few continuity errors within the first couple episodes. Next, I'd like to move on to what I believe the show's greatest strength is: the characters. Not only do each of the characters have fun, quirky personalities, but they're also very well written, and the interactions between them move the plot forward. Much of the show's off-kilter and extremely quotable humor comes from these characters. The main character and protagonist of the show is Dipper. He's easily the most relatable character because he is more grounded than the other zany characters in the cast. He's very smart for his age and has a good sense of adventure, even though he does tend to overthink things a lot and be a bit paranoid at times. Then there's Dipper's sister, Mabel. She is a fan favorite character, and for very good reason. Not only is she the source of a good portion of the humor in the show, she's brilliantly voiced by Kristen Shaw. This is one of the best kid characters I have seen in a very long time, cartoon or otherwise. She is a perfect foil for Dipper, energetic, silly, and optimistic. And before I move on to the other characters, there are a couple things I'd like to talk about in these characters in particular. First, although Dipper is smart for his age, he's always believably so. I tend to find that sometimes in cartoons and sitcoms, when they have young child characters they want to be very likable, they tend to make them too smart for their age. They talk like they're older or act more mature than they are. And while these characters can be a lot of fun, such as Manny from Modern Family or Phineas and Ferb, they're not nearly as believable. Dipper is one of those characters where the creators and writers struck just the right balance. He's a mature enough child to carry the show, yet he's always still a kid. He has many of the same problems as children do, and makes many of the same mistakes. I also really enjoy the relationship between Dipper and Mabel as siblings and twins. Many cartoons and even sitcoms these days have a very stereotypical relationship between brother and sister siblings. Some of these shows include Kim Possible, Phineas and Ferb, Static Shock, and I'm sure there are many others. But Gravity Falls does not. They still fight like siblings would, but their bond and their love for each other in this show is something special. Probably due to the fact that the show was actually inspired by the creator's own childhood and twin sister. In fact, I would consider the relationship between these siblings to be the heart of the entire show. Still, there are other great characters as well. Grunkle Stan is the lovable, swindling curmudgeon that provides a great deal of adult humor to the show. He has a great dynamic with the kids, and not to mention a mystery surrounding him. Seuss, the handyman, is an enjoyable man-child. It actually took me a while to warm up to this character, but once I did, I realized there was something more to him. And his friendship with the kids makes him all that more likable. Wendy, the next character, is the tomboy employee that works at the Mystery Shack. She has an interesting relationship with Dipper. These characters are joined by an interesting cast of side characters, such as Little Gideon, Robbie, and Waddles. There aren't many weak characters in the show. In fact, only a couple come to mind, and those are the two cops, the sheriff and the deputy. These characters are mostly used for humor, but their jokes rarely work, and they're altogether just not that funny. In fact, some people consider them offensive stereotypes. Besides the characters, the show also has a great mystery, and I am an absolute sucker for mysteries. The ongoing mystery of Gravity Falls is an ingenious way to keep viewers interested in the show. And of course, for those mystery-solving geeks out there like me, trying to solve that mystery, especially when the creators specifically give you hidden clues along the way, is part of the fun. Which brings me to another strength of the show: it knows its audience. Like many of its modern predecessors, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and Adventure Time, it's clear the show is not just aimed towards younger children, but towards the whole family and a teen population. And the creators take full advantage of it. Within the show, there are hidden messages and clues for the viewers to find to help solve the mystery, including the theme song itself. They use backward messages and multiple codes that may go over the heads of some younger children, but the teens and adults can use them. The show is also very self-aware, which makes for some wonderful comedy, and it takes its audience seriously. The show is more reminiscent of a Cartoon Network show than a Disney one. It makes jokes about murder, and it often fluctuates between lighthearted humor and a mysterious dark atmosphere. It's almost like part of the fun is just seeing what they can get away with. It also has a great way of incorporating and parodying modern-day things, such as the current preteen fascination with vampires, boy bands, video games, and even TV evangelists. They make for some great jokes, play towards a geeky fan base, and even help the show perform well among multiple generations. At the same time, though, it could lend itself to the show not aging well because of all the modern references. But for a modern audience, it works very well and makes a great deal of good comedy. The last thing I want to mention about the strengths of this show is, much like Avatar: The Last Airbender, it has a cohesive, established world and an ongoing narrative. This keeps the audience invested and keeps the show from becoming repetitive. Even some of Disney's more popular shows right now, such as Phineas and Ferb, have become formulaic and stale. This is not the case with Gravity Falls, and it just goes to show how much love and care the creators have taken with their show. Still, despite how great the show is, even the best of shows have a few problems. The biggest of the problems for me being the love triangle. Now, there aren't really spoilers in this section, but I will talk about interactions between characters, so fair warning. Just so you know, I'm generally not a fan of love triangles to begin with, so I am a bit biased. That said, I do enjoy the relationship between Dipper Wendy and Robbie. I also don't mind the whole Dipper being in love with an older girl thing. Though I wasn't a big fan of it at first, it's okay now. Unfortunately, the triangle itself is just not interesting. I've never enjoyed love triangles that are simply used for drama, and unfortunately so far that's all it is. Since the show itself is actually pretty smart and clever, I'm hoping that this love triangle will come back into play and something more will come of it. But I guess we'll have to wait till season 2 to find out. Alright, so that's it. Thank you for sticking it out with me till the end. And for those of you who didn't, well, you're probably not still here. So, for those of you who enjoyed Gravity Falls or who have seen the show, I hope you enjoyed my commentary, and feel free to discuss the show and what you think below. For those of you who are new to the show, I hope this review helped you learn if you're interested, and if you are, I'll leave some links in the description below to some trailers to get you started. Until next time, take care.